Hi! Today we are going to discuss the creative process, my creative process. So we often see a pretty logo and a pretty design brochure, but how do we get to that stage and how do we make those design decisions? This is what this episode is all about, my creative process. Guys, my name is Eric Konig, and I have created this channel wanting to share with you what I've learned during my career in advertising, branding and graphic design, what I call brand communication. So today I want to discuss my creative process, the way I create a design. How do I do that? How does it happen? Well, we are going to discuss two cases. One is a branding, identity, logo creation for a new business. And the second case is a bit more delicate. It's designing a contract, but it's also redesigning the process and how they go by signing up a client. First, I was approached to make this contract prettier, but we got very quickly, the more we talked about it, into something entirely different. And that also is part of the creative process. Designing better ways to do things, not only making it prettier, but making it better in many, many ways. So first, we are going to talk about the creation of a brand, a new identity for a mortgage broker, a local mortgage broker. First, the first question was, how do you name that business? And to name his business, he came up with something very unimaginative, very predictable. So I encouraged him to find something a bit more personal, a bit special, a name that will personally resonate with him. And he came up with something very smart. He came up himself with an amalgamation of the two names of his two sons. And that became Osam. And I thought that was pretty bright and pretty good. So I liked it and I said, yep, go for that, that's excellent. Osam Finance. The second thing I like to ask when I want to design something for a business is ask myself three questions. What, who, and how? So the what is this company or business doing? In this case, it was mortgage broking. But what do they do exactly? And when I ask this question, I want this question to be answered like a 5-year-old would answer it, and stating the obvious, just to prompt some images and thoughts about what this person is doing in a new and novel way. So for example, I will say, what is this mortgage broker doing? He's helping people to get a house. But that's boring. So I say no to that. That's not what he's doing. He's helping people getting a home. And there is a massive difference between getting a house and getting a home. A home is family, it's security, it's your nest. So the emphasis of a home instead of a house is a very different positioning already. With a home, you think family, you think nest, you think a castle, protected from the outside. You think security, life dream, finally realized. Family, peace of mind, a roof over your head. This is how I create stuff, you see. I brainstorm and come up with words, keywords that resonates with the direction I want to take. Then is a how. How does this particular operator offer the services? I start with saying, maybe again brainstorming, maybe the obvious things, but it doesn't matter. It's just to prompt ideas and images. And I will say, okay, he will look after you. He will find you the best deal. He is not attached to any bank or any financial institution. He will do the legwork for you. He will fight the banks for you on your behalf for the best rates. He's got the connection with the banks that you don't have. He's on your side, not on the bank's side, not on his own selfish side. He's on your side, the side of the person who is getting the home. You are the priority, your family is his priority. And finally, the who question. Who is this person? Well, it just happened that he's a country boy, not a city guy. He's a country boy. And when we say country boy, the image that comes to mind is genuine, no nonsense, straight to the point. He also happened to be a family man, just like you, just like the person, the client who wants to mortgage and finance their house, their new home for their own family. So there is a relation there. It's a family man working for another family. So from there on, we'll come up with some keywords that I want to attach to this new identity. Some are obvious, but some are still defining. Family, kids, keywords. Security, accountability. Trustworthy, genuine, on your side. Fight the banks on your side, on your behalf. Best deals. So with all this little research and brainstorming and those keywords, we already can define a very custom-made, bespoke design direction. So from there on, we have already a flavor and a vibe of the identity. So we've got to come up with something concrete now, design elements. And the design elements, I look into what we just discussed and look at what he's doing. And I was thinking about the paperwork. What does he produce? How does he work? And all it is really is just, he comes in your home and there is a bunch of paperwork, contracts, flyers for advertising services and conditions and terms of whatever. Paperwork is a key. With paperwork signed and everything, you get all the deal done. And after that, it's in the hands of the banks. So paperwork was a key. And when I think paper and I think family, I'm thinking, you know, my kid folding paper planes all the time or doing origami. And with origami, you can form shapes. Shapes is a design element that I'm after here. We are talking, okay, obviously the first thing that comes to mind will be a house. What if we fold paper, origami style, to make the shape of a house? So here we go. We came up with this icon to form the logo, origami style. This folding of paper showed the roof of a house, but also an arrow pointing up. Pointing up is very positive. It's future, positive future. It's a very strong image, and it worked really well. I was very happy with that. The second case is a bit different. I was approached by a client to redesign their standard contract. When the client is on board, they are signed up for a year, 2 years, 3 years with the help of this contract. The contract they have now is pretty boring and standard contract, and they wanted to enliven it to make it sexier, nicer, and with more graphic design elements and more modern. And I said, well, that's great, I can definitely do that, it's very easy. It was a 14-page contract. We can make it pretty and make it nice. But we were asking questions, and it came up that the contract is actually in Word, and they needed to stay in Word because they want to be able to edit and customize the contract for each client. And straight away the alarm bell went on and said, contract in Word, it's not going to be beautiful ever, it's going to always be ugly and cumbersome and really like past century. It's not good, it's not modern, it's bad. So I'm thinking, okay, that's got to go. How else can we do it? Digging further in their process and how they create this contract, I found out that they use a calculation sheet, an Excel macro, an Excel sheet. So it's a separate document where they calculate their rates. So they use this document to calculate their pricing structure. They report the result of this into Word. Word use macros as well to populate the contract with the detail of the client. So it's a lot of extra steps necessary. Everything can be done in one document, surely. I'm thinking something is wrong in the way they work here. They waste a lot of time, it's cumbersome, it's not good. Thirdly, when the contract is finally populated with the detail of the client and the right pricing structure implemented in the contract, they got to produce it in a way for the client to access, sign and agree upon, and return back to them. Some clients also want to have the option of printing that contract, sign it on a hard copy and fax it back. And I'm thinking this is way, way too hard. It has got to be done. It has and it should be done in one document, one place. I really wanted to rethink the whole process, streamline it, put it in a cloud. So you see, this is really a good demonstration of a creative process here. I was asked to redesign, make pretty word-based contract, which I could easily do, but it would not be very beautiful, nice and modern, and like we discussed, it was not the perfect solution. Digging further, I realized that a lot more things could be offered to the client to make their life better, to streamline the process, save time, and in the long run, save a lot of money. This is a big company, this is a national company. A lot of contracts are signed in every state, everywhere. You just add up this little saving here and there, it's a lot of money, a lot of time saved. So, with following this creative process and creative thinking, we ended up offering a completely digital solution, cloud-based, offering them a better system integration, streamlining the process and the design of a contract, and that demonstrates another facet of parallel thinking, creative thinking, and a creative process. Very often, the clients have no idea what he really needs until somebody creative comes into the picture and offers a solution that that client would have never thought about. This is what it is as well to be creative, isn't it? Not just making pretty things, like I always say. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much, and see you next week. Bye.